Hey, hi. Happy Sunday, everyone. And I'm back again with another interesting video. Okay. And I am sure you will like this. So, this is regarding a person whose father recently underwent a hernia surgery, right? So, obviously, it is a big event because someone's father undergoing a surgery. Definitely, one would be curious. And obviously, I was also equally curious to uh, find out, if there are indications suggesting this kind of an event. Again, trust me, it was not like very easy, and obviously it is extremely difficult to predict that it will be a hernia surgery, but at least you will be in a position to identify some indications that things may not be all that great in that particular year, and you could expect some unpleasant stuff, related to family members or you yourself. So, with that background, if you see here, there are two charts. The one on the left is the radix chart of the native, and the one on the right is the most recent solar return chart, because this person was born in the month of October, and October 2026 is still a couple of months away. And that's where the 2025 October chart happens to be the most relevant and the nearest solar return chart that will be applicable for any events that might take place this year, right? From 18th October 2025 to 18th October 2026. In fact, the same chart I have used in another video, but that was more related to prediction of foreign travel, where the same person also went abroad. So that time the connections were more related to the ninth lot, and I would encourage you to go through that video uh, in case you have not seen it, right? It's the same chart, the same natal chart, obviously, and the same solar return chart. And that's where I'm saying solar return is extremely vital, because it gives insights into the events that are possible in that year, right? You may not be able to predict it accurately to the dot, but definitely you could use that as a guiding principle and see what best you could do to take precautionary measures. Now, remedy itself is an ocean as a science. So the remedial astrology is in itself a very complicated topic, and maybe in the future I might make some videos around that. I'm right now researching some of them, have recommended it to some of my friends and colleagues, and obviously they have benefited out of it, and this definitely gives me the confidence that yes, I should start experimenting more and more. And while I can proudly say that I have published a lot of videos on the topic of primary directions and how to predict primary directions using this composite approach, where you have the radix chart, you have the relevant directions that are under influence or active, and then also the solar return chart. And using this system along with perfections, you are able to come up with some predictions of the events that are possible. Again, this event is hindsight, I know, and to be honest, I had missed seeing this event, but then now that we know that the surgery has already occurred and the patient is back home, obviously your curiosity doubles, and you want to see, how the hell did you end up missing such an event. So that's it. Enough of all the background. Let's directly dive into the chart. So if you see here, right, let us look at the directions that are active around this time. Okay. So if you see, right, now, as I said, this person's father underwent a surgery. We all know that sun is the universal significator of father, right? So the sun entered the terms of Mercury in Scorpio way back in 2018. But if you see, only towards September 2026 it is going to move to the terms of Jupiter in Scorpio. So it is still in the terms of Mercury in Scorpio, and the fag end, right? So sun is in the fag end of its terms, right? So Sun is still in the terms of Mercury, okay, in Scorpio, right? Okay, Sun is still in the terms of Mercury in Scorpio. So as I said, I also ended up computing the actual direction. So the surgery took place on the 28th of April 2026, so a couple of days back. And I also calculated the positions of the directed significators around that time, right? And as I said, I have not covered how to calculate the real-time positions of directed significators. Now, one approach will be to really get bogged down by all the mathematics under the hood and then calculating it accurately using pen, paper, and all the spherical geometry and trigonometrical functions that are involved. The other option is to use a software like Morinus, and Morinus does give you the option to calculate the approximate positions of the directed significators, though as per my guru they are not like perfect in terms of the positions, but that is more than enough for most of the predictive work that we would end up doing, right? Again, hats off to my guru for teaching me how to calculate it, at least using software. I know the mathematics part is something which will take time, and not everyone would have the kind of patience it takes to do that. Okay, so that said, see the directed, so Sun is directed to the terms of Mercury in Scorpio, right? And on the day of surgery, the directed Sun was at 18 degrees and 54 minutes of Scorpio. Now, if I mark this position 18 degrees 54 minutes of Scorpio in the revolution chart, you see 18 degrees 54 minutes of Scorpio is somewhere here. So this is the directed Sun. So the directed Sun is actually falling in the 6th house of illness, hospitalization, right? So remember, Sun is a significator of father among many others. So Sun, being the universal significator of father, is directed to the 6th house of the revolution chart, definitely indicating, one of the indications. This may not just be the only factor based on which you can jump to that conclusion, but yes, you see, a directed Sun is in the 6th house of the solar revolution chart. Okay, that's it. What else, what else can we check? Okay, now let us look at let's look at, okay, now it says around the end of 2024 the moon was directed to a sextile of Saturn. So the moon was directed to a sextile of Saturn. So Saturn again becomes an important chronocrator, or Saturn becomes a promiser. Now let us look at Saturn, right? Now if you see Saturn in the revolution chart, okay, right, actually opposes the IC, right? Because Saturn is in Pisces, and the cusp of the 4th house, the Imam Coeli, the IC, and remember 4th house is also the house of parents and father in Greek astrology. So if you see, of course it is a couple of degrees away, but then later down the line, and as I said, right, the solar return is the position around the day of birth, around the birthday, right? So obviously Saturn will continue to move in the coming months, and it will hit an opposition with the IC. So obviously, though not a very strong opposition, but there is an opposition of malefic Saturn, right? Or Saturn forms an opposition with the IC, and IC is father, among many other things. It is also the 4th house is also home, property, vehicles. But then right now, since we are looking at this event related to father, obviously we should see if there are any afflictions to the 4th house or the 4th lord or the IC. And here we see that the IC is receiving an opposition from malefic Saturn, right? Not okay. So that's another point that is giving clue about the fourth house getting afflicted. Now let us look at another important point. See, I was talking to a Bulgarian astrologer recently, and according to him, if the MC also represents parents and not just the IC. So he firmly believes that if ascendant is me, MC represents parents, and the descendant apart from the wife also represents your child. So he has done some research where he has used directions of the descendant, and then based on that, he has seen childbirth happening when the descendant is also having a strong connection to the fifth house, fifth lord, Jupiter, and stuff. So, okay, so now going back, so if you see the directed MC is in Capricorn. So if you see directed MC is 11.36 Capricorn, right? So if I map 11.36 Capricorn in the solar return chart, the directed MC is somewhere here. So this is the directed MC. So the directed MC also falls in the 8th house of the revolution chart. So if you consider MC for parents as well, you also consider MC for career, but that is specific to this person. Obviously, the directed MC falling in the 8th house of the revolution chart will give him anxiety and fear related to career. And yes, this person is currently undergoing through a lot of uncertainty. He's little worried about his job and whether he'll be able to adjust, manage. So that is anyway getting, we are able to see that. But then if you also consider MC for parents, yes, the MC being in the 8th house also suggests there could be some issue related to parents. And now since the directed sun is in the 6th house, maybe you could guess that it is related to father, right? And remember also that your revolution Saturn is casting an opposition on the 4th house cusp of the revolution chart, right? Let us look at moon, the directed moon. So if you see, moon is in the terms of Jupiter in Cancer. Okay, moon is in the terms of Jupiter in Cancer, right? So the directed moon is actually at 22 degrees of Cancer, right? So directed moon is at 22 degrees of Cancer. So 22 degrees of Cancer will be somewhere here, the directed moon, if I say. Okay, and the directed moon is at 22 degrees, and if you really see, right, it is applying to, this is 22 degrees of Cancer, it is applying to a square with malefic Mars. Now, I was just wondering, my guru used to tell me you should always look at moon in the solar return chart as well, apart from the directed moon. If you see in the solar return chart, moon is at 0 degrees of Virgo and Saturn is at 2 degrees of Pisces. And Saturn casts an opposition on the moon, right? Saturn casts a strong opposition aspect on the moon. Now, if we also bring the concept of profections into account, right? In this year, the profected ascendant was 27 degrees of Libra, right? Making Venus the lord of the year, right? So Venus is the profected lord of the year, and if you see, Venus is also in the 4th house, right? So Venus being the perfected lord of the year is in the 4th house, and Venus also happens to be the natal 8th lord. So the natal 8th lord again in the 4th house of parents. So yes, again you are seeing 6th house, 8th house related effects getting magnified. Okay, this is another way that I saw. Now, since the perfected ascendant is Libra, right? Since the perfected ascendant is Libra, right? The perfected 10th lord is going to be Cancer, because Libra is the 1st house, Scorpio 2nd, Sagittarius 3rd, Capricorn 4th, and if Capricorn is the 4th house, then 10th house is Cancer. So what is moon? So moon is the MC lord, right? So moon is the MC lord, right? Correct? So moon is the MC lord. And if you see, the MC lord receives an opposition aspect from Saturn. So again, this could be issues related to work, career, and also issues related to parents, because as I said, MC should also be considered for parents. So Saturn casting an opposition into moon, which is the profected 10th lord, again, gives some issues related to career as well as parents. So you have the profected 10th lord moon receiving an opposition aspect from Saturn. You have the directed moon receiving a square aspect from Mars. I mean, it is applying to a square of Mars. So basically, square aspect of Mars falls in the directed moon, right? So that is obviously going to cause a lot of mental worries if you also want to consider moon for mind. The same Bulgarian astrologer also says that moon represents family, right? So a square of Mars on the moon could mean injury, could mean surgery related to somebody within the family. It could be close family members, pretty much. And that's where he considers moon. See, let's be open to these concepts, right? And it's not like not everything is etched in stone. A lot of things we learn by observation from others' observation. So I think these things. And another important thing I wanted to let you know, if the profected ascendant moves to 27 degrees of Libra, so basically 9 houses away, the profected sun also moves nine houses, and the profected sun is actually at 1 degree and 28 minutes of Gemini. So 1 degree and 28 minutes of Gemini, and profected sun at 1 degree, okay, is of Gemini is again squared by the revolution Saturn. So sun, the perfected sun, because sun again being the universal significator of father, is receiving a square aspect from the revolution Saturn. In fact, sun is going to apply to a square with revolution Saturn. So I think there are so many indications that point to something related to sun significations, father being one of the main ones. But as I said, this is hindsight. It was not so easy. But many times when we analyze a chart, we don't do it so deeply. Now, because this event has happened, you want to really do a deep dive analysis. So that's where I'm saying the concept of Maya also comes into play. Sometimes you will miss seeing certain combinations because you may be focusing more on the career side. You may analyze it more for career. You may analyze it for foreign travel, but may end up missing something vital, like the same person's father would have undergone a surgery. I mean, of course, the surgery was successful and stuff, but then it still means somebody has to go under the knife. You have, a lot of anxiety and worry associated. Your near and dear ones are also involved. So I'm saying the fourth house in Vedic astrology is also home situation, and then obviously when such events happen, there is a lot of tension and a lot of action within the home circumstances. So I hope you found this video very informative. I mean, you can try Vedic methods and stuff, but trust me, it may not be so easy to predict that it's going to be exactly related to the father. So I can again and again emphasize that primary directions coupled with solar returns is gold standard when it comes to being able to predict some broad outlines that are possible in a particular year for the native. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked my video, I would request you to press the like button. And if you know people who enjoy this subject, and again, as I said, you will hardly find videos and detailed articles telling you how to predict. There are books available. My guru has written a book, but I'm saying somebody teaching this using a whiteboard approach, I don't think there are many people so far. I have not come across, and I hope people get encouraged and bring out the best of their knowledge so that we all are able to learn from each other's experiences. Thank you, and stay smart and continue to have a nice weekend. This is Subramanian Balagopalan signing off.